back-to-back victories for Sam Bachman as he takes the win at the Port Royal Speedway.
Wins another one at the Knoxville Raceway. Blake Chapman wins.
A corner down here through the front straightaway. Watson gets the win here tonight.
Chad Greggs, a Knoxville Nationals champion. But to the checkered flag, Clay Christopherson, your winner at Lernerville. Here they come off of turn number 4. To the checkers, Templeton takes the win.
Through the back stretch into corners 3 and 4 out here. It's going to be Watson for the win.
The 56 wins. First time winner Randy Streets.
But your winner at Weed Sports is going to be Brandon Templeton in the Salty Dog.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another night here of On the Pole Racing from Fleeger Farm TV. We are set here to rock and roll. We've got to try to figure out which track we're at here tonight. We head on out through. I want to say we're Lincoln, if I'm looking at it right. Yes, Lincoln Speedway. There, I saw it in that corner there real fast. We got him rolling out through down the backstretch. That is Ryland Banks. Just a few more moments here, and we will wrap up the practice and get on with qualifying here tonight. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the racing action that we provide here at Fleeger Farm TV. Yeah, you see him there. Pat Boyce out there in the number 41. Terry Landis out there in the 161. Joseph Grundy out there in the 518 with Matt Barber in the number 16 currently out there on track. There is the checkered flag here for the practice laps. Now we'll get into qualifying for tonight's events. And we'll see how they qualify here coming up. All right, heading out here on track. That is Pat Boyce as they bring it on out here through the front corner 1 and 2. We see the 41 there. Pat Boyce come rolling on out there. See what our best times are. Ryland Banks is a 16:095. Look out. Here comes Grundy. Or Grandy, rather. Grandy with a 15.999. Kurt Schatzer out there with a 16.063. Banks and Lackey tying there with a 16.095. We got Randy Shreves with a 16.125. That is your top 5 at the moment. Here as we get set to rock and roll here tonight, we'll see how this breaks down as we got 12 drivers set to go here. I believe Landis is out on track right now. Coming through turn 1 and 2, back onto the backstretch. He lays down a 16.527. All right, here we go. Heat number 1, 6 drivers. Gonna be Stephen Bixler out there in front. Randy Shreves there in second. Ryland Banks third. Joseph Grundy in fourth. Mason Hine there in a fifth. Pat Boyce in sixth. We see them get set to rock and roll out here right now. Got a couple laps before they go green, and now that went away on me, and not nice of you to do. As we have it here, to try to get back up real quickly here. Please come back alive. Still not found. Ah, All right, give us a moment here as we have lost it all. They're going to start green flag racing here in just a moment. But yeah, we'll be good to go as that pace car brings it around here, trying to go and get this to where it comes up. Got it good here. Here we go. Green flag is out. Come on here. There we go. And they come down here in the corner number 1 and 2. 6 laps to go. Now we see that 56 of Randy Shreves up there on the top side. Working through turn 3 and 4 here at Lincoln. Down there across the front straightaway. You got the 75 there. Stephen Bixler working on the inside of the 41 of Pat Boyce. You see the 518, Joseph Grandy out there in second. He's down there. Now he dives to the inside underneath of Randy Shreves. As they work there off of 4. 3 wide there, then that second row back. We got the 89 there of Mason Hine hitting that inside wall down there. Coming off of turn 2 down that back straightaway. The 75 there is Stephen Bixler. We see, oh no, he gets picked up there a little bit. Got to back out of it. Down here off 4, down in the corner number 1. We got Stephen Bixler there in 5th now. Out front, Randy Shreve, Joseph Grandy there. Yeah, Grandy out there in second as they work there off. Grandy looking to the inside, can't quite get there. 2 laps to go here in heat number 1. Off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Grandy looks possibly as they work here in the corner number 3 and 4. He's going to stick it up here in the flop. Try to get the momentum off corner number 4. Can't quite get there. Down here in the corner number 1 and 2. Final time here around Lincoln for heat number 1 as he looks there behind him. Possibly will stay single file here as he's not going to race him too hard as he wants to try to get up there to battle him out in the feature. Great run there for Randy Shreves, Joseph Grandy, Pat Boyce, Mason Hine, Rylan Banks, and Stephen Bixler. Look here at your Heat 1 results in just a moment. All right, Heat 1 results coming up. Randy Shreve, Joseph Grandy, Pat Boyce, Mason Hine, Rylan Banks, Stephen Bixler, your finishers there in heat number 1. Heat number 2, we got Dean Reynolds out there in the front. Matt Barber starting second. Chad Lackey in third. Kurt Schatzer fourth. Ted York there in a 5th. And Terry Landis in a 6th. You see, they get ready for the start here coming down through the corner. Everybody looking good. One more lap to green. All right, you see them coming down the backstretch. Everybody looking good as they work there off the corner. Down in the corner, number 1 and 2. And down the back straightaway, Kurt Schatzer in at 218, looking underneath Dean Reynolds. As Reynolds tries to chase down Matt Barber, working down through that back stretch here as we got 4 to go. Down here in the corner, number 1. For the A&J Custom Creations Hometown Heroes here tonight. This is your Pro Late models. As they work there through 3 and 4. Reynolds there second with Schatzer there in third. Landis in fourth with Chad Lockheed. Sitting there fifth with Ted York. Rounding out in 6 here as they try to set this inside, the outside row of your main event. 3 laps to go. Dean Reynolds here second. Matt Barber out there in front. Schatzer there third. Terry Landis fourth. Chad Lackey in of his. There you see him working down through the backstretch. 2 laps to go for Barber as he's up there on the top shelf, working down there off the front straightaway. Cross the stripe in the corner number 1. One more time around here for Matt Barber and heat number 2. All right, heat number 2 finished up. Here we go with your results for heat number 2. Come on. Matt Barber gets the win. Dean Reynolds there second. Kurt Schatzer third. Terry Landis in fourth. Chad Lackey fifth. Ted York there finishes 6th. All right, we'll be back after these short messages.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash, found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken, I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, here we go with the start of the race here tonight. As we get set to rock and roll, here is your starting grid. As we see it here, we got 12 drivers ready to take the show on here tonight. Randy Shreve starting tonight on pole. Matt Barber there in second. Joseph Grandy there in third. Dean Reynolds in fourth. Pat Boyce in fifth. Kurt Schatzer sixth. Mason Hine will roll off at seventh. Terry Landis rolls off tonight in eighth. Rowland Banks in ninth. Chad Lackey 10th. Stephen Mixler will start 11th with Ted York starting in 12th position here tonight. Now we watch them come around here getting ready for the green flag. This is the A&J Custom Creations Hometown Heroes Pro Late models. Coming up here shortly will be the 360 Sprints. Here from Lincoln. I watch them head down through the back straightaway with Matt Barber out there. There on the high side, the 56 there, Randy Shreves, your control car. Green flag is out. They're down and away in the corner. Number one, they'll fly. We see Shreves down there on the inside. Barber, what a run he's got on the outside, but don't count that next row back out. There with Dean Reynolds and Joseph Grandy. They roll down here in the corner, number 1 and 2. Ryland Banks having issues. He ends up in trouble and is out. There's him work there off corner number 4 down that front straightaway. 23 laps to go here tonight in the Hometown Heroes from A&J Custom Creations. Working down in the corner number 3 and 4 down there on the inside. That is going to be that 518 of Joseph Grandy. Down there working off turn number 2. Shreves out front as your leader. Dean Reynolds in second. Matt Barber there in third. As now Barber tries to battle with Reynolds up there for second place. As you see, Grandy still back there fighting for that 4th position. Reynolds goes down there on the inside still of Matt Barber. Down in the corner number 3. 21 laps to go as they come here out of 4. There will be 20 to go as they cross the stripe in the corner number 1. And let's look at that track as the way it is rubbering up. As you see all that slick spots out there. Down there off corner number 4. Down through the front straightaway, the 56 of Randy Shreves out there. Matt Barber there in second. Dean Reynolds in third. Joseph Grandy there in fourth. He's battling there with Reynolds. As Reynolds is down there on the bottom side. Barber and those drivers trying just to get everything they can. Looks like Ryland Banks had a connection problem or something. As now he's coming back out on track. Down 2 laps. Down 7 laps. I'm getting telemetry out there on once again. So we'll see if he gets something calculated here, and he does. So Banks back in it. You see Shreves out there in front, Barber there in second, Dean Reynolds there third. Now Grandy up there on the high side. He's trying to get around Reynolds. As they work down here in the corner number 1 and 2. 15 laps to go here at Lincoln for the Pro Late Bottles. Down here off the start finish line in the corner number 1 and 2. Barber up on the high side. Grandy down there on the bottom side. Reynolds looking on there in 4. There comes Grandy. Trying to find that momentum down there on the bottom side. Reynolds had issues trying to find it down there. I just see them work there through the slick spots of 1 and 2. 13 laps to go. Shreves is out front. Here goes Grandy down there on the inside, trying to hold off. Barber can't quite do it as of yet. 12 laps to go as they enter turn number 1. Reynolds down there on the inside, almost getting up underneath that 518 of Joseph Grandy. Off at corner number 3 in the 4. 12 laps to go. Here with the Pro Late models from A&J Custom Creations, Hometown Heroes. Up there on the high side is Matt Barber. You got the 518 there, Grandy, working there pretty good on the bottom side right now. Just trying to keep that momentum coming off the corner. Still Barber getting a little bit ahead to stay on them there as the laps change. Great racing there for second. As you see, they're just battling back and forth. Here comes Reynolds now. He's trying to find a spot to maybe split them as they work there off turn number 2 down that back straightaway. Everybody's working together as much as they can. Up off turn number 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway, 8 laps to go. Uh-oh. Okay, I was going to say, Grandy almost ended up disappearing there. I see Reynolds down there on the bottom side. Everybody's battling off. Here as Randy Shreves up there in front. Matt Barber, their second. Joseph Grandi, their third. Dean Reynolds fourth as they roll it on off here. Looking great. Hey, Shreves there out front. Matt Barber out there in second. Joseph Grandi, their third. Out here in the corner, number 1 and 2, up there on the high side. 5 laps to go for Randy Shreves, who's out in front. Down there in the corner, number 3 and 4. All right, 2 laps to go for Randy Shreves, but look out, here comes Grandy down there on the inside, head of steam. He'll have 1 lap to see if he can get underneath of Shreves here. They work off corner number 4. He's there. Can he do something about a final lap? Shreves down there on the inside, or I'm sorry, Grandy down there on the inside. Here comes Shreves up there at the top side. Reynolds there in a third, and Barber ended up falling back. And it's a close race. It's going to be Shreves getting the win with Grandy there in second. Just not enough to close it out here. All right, there is your winners. So here we go. Your feature results for the Pro Late models are going to be Randy Shreves getting the win. Joseph Grandy there in second. Dean Reynolds third. Matt Barber fourth. Kurt Schatzer in fifth. Mason Hine in sixth. Chad Lackey in seventh. Ted York in eighth. Terry Landis in ninth. Stephen Bixler in 10th. Matt Boyce there in 11th. Rylan Banks will round out there in 12th. All right, let's see if we can get with the winners here. They put on quite the show here tonight. Starting with Dean Reynolds out there in that number 79 machine. Good evening there, Dean. How's it going?
What's going on, Adam? How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, man. Oh, man, a tough race out there.
What a great race. I mean, I said, you know what? I'm not supposed to curse in there, but I said, what a great effing race. Nonstop, 25 laps at Lincoln, and the top 4 were under a blanket, and you had Kurt right there behind us. So you couldn't ask for anything more.
No, you couldn't. And it seemed like that track slicked off quite a bit as well.
Yeah, it was. I think the grooves were even. The bottom was a little bit quicker during the feature warm-up, so I kind of fell back a little bit on the start so I can get behind the third-place car and then go down low because I thought they might go up top, and they did. But then the bottom started slowing up a little bit, and those guys, Randy and Matt, were better up top. And then I decided to go up there, but I didn't do so well, and that's how Joseph got me. And then when I started following them, when you're behind, you can always choose different grooves to find one, and then all of a sudden I went in the middle in 3 and 4, and it stuck. And, I said to Matt, I go, the only reason why I got you is because I found the middle. Once Joseph got by him, I knew I can get underneath Matt and go in that middle and then hopefully get by him, and that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, you had a great run there tonight, and it is definitely fun whenever you can get a group of you together like you did tonight.
Oh, yeah, it was, 12 cars and nonstop. Lincoln's one of the toughest tracks. And, you got high speeds on the straightaways, but you got tight bank corners, and a lot of stuff can happen here at Lincoln. But you know what? When you get the right group of drivers, any race can be fun. And, they proved it right here, and we had a good time, put on a good show, and then hopefully we can do the same with the sprints.
Well, and you're saying about the banks here at Lincoln, there's really not a lot of banking, if I'm thinking correct.
No, there is. It's deceiving maybe because you don't have a good camera angle. TV4 and TV3 are up top, but there is quite a bit of banking here. And really, if there's an outside, you can really almost flat-foot it around here, especially in a sprint car. And you can utilize that. But when it gets up against the wall, though, it gets tough because you can hit that wall coming out of 2 and 4.
Well, that's true. But what I'm saying is I know there's banking there, but it's not like you see at some other tracks.
No, it's not like Charlotte or Eldora or anything like that. But it's all just how you want to use it. And really, the whole key to this track is to come off the corners. You got to keep your momentum and to come off the corners, and that's the whole key. If you can come off the corners good and get that momentum going down the straightaway, you're going to get success. All
right. Well, congrats again on getting 3rd place here in the Pro Late Models. You got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank?
Oh, got to thank the guys from FTM as always. Just a great group of guys, and we're proud sponsors of Coast to Coast. Got to thank AJ Customs Creations, Andy Patton for his sponsorship. So, Adam, you can be here to do the broadcast. And got to thank you and Flieger Farm TV for doing the broadcast, and also the sponsorship of the midgets, so people can watch the midgets after the sprint cars. So you got to thank that, and got to thank all the people watching on YouTube, and stay tuned and let's go sprint car racing, my friend.
All right, yeah, we're getting ready for the 360, so that should be a great race as well.
Yes, I like sprint cars here, and I think if we get the same group of guys running the sprints, we're gonna have just as much fun as we did right here.
All righty, well, good luck in the 360s there, Dean. We look forward to watching.
Thanks, Adam. Take care, man.
All right, out with Dean Reynolds, our 3rd place finisher. Now we'll get with Joseph Grandy. Good evening there, Joseph. How's it going?
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How's 2nd place feel tonight? I know it was a pretty tough track here, but it seemed like you were able to gain on Shreves, just not enough laps left to really make a move.
Yeah, I definitely felt the quickest on the track. Just took me longer than I wanted to get in the 2nd place and try to make up some ground, but fell a little short today. All in all, it was a real fun race, and I think I'll be sticking around for the 360s. I got some time.
Alrighty, well, you look like you had a great time out there, and you got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank before you head off into the 360?
Sure do. Catalytic Recovery, Raise the Bar, all the guys over at RMDB, Hinkle Homes, Mad Rabbit, Highlight Cinematography, my girlfriend Olivia, AJ Custom Creations, all the guys over at Coast to Coast, and appreciate you, man, for doing the broadcast every week.
Alrighty, well, congrats again, getting second here in the Pro Late Models, and we'll be watching you in the 360s coming up.
All right, man, thanks.
That's Joseph Grande, our third place finisher. Good evening there, Randy. How's it going?
Too bad, man. Pulled off a victory finally in these things, and definitely feels good, especially against the talent that was there tonight.
Yeah, it's never easy to really pull off a win here because the field is stacked with talent. And I know Reynolds was saying that he was very pleased with the run tonight. 25 laps, no cautions here at Lincoln, and the top 4 or 5 were really battling out the entire race.
Yeah, definitely kind of unbelievable to win, all 25 green, and, that never happens, especially here at Lincoln. So that, just proves that, this league's got a lot of talent and people that try to avoid cautions and don't try to cause them, and everybody just tries to race clean.
Yeah, a lot of great clean racing here tonight. And you think you might be in the same position if you might have had maybe about 2 laps more of the race to go?
To be honest, I don't think so. The last couple laps, I heard Joseph behind me. I wasn't trying to look behind me at all. I just wanted to keep running my line, and if I won, I won. If not, I knew Joseph would have been the one to take it from me. I just didn't know where to run. Starting up front, man, you just never know where it's fast at, because you just try to just run your line and just take off, and that's what I planned on doing, is just running my line until it wasn't there anymore, and it paid off.
Yeah, it definitely did pay off, and paid off big here tonight with you getting that victory. You got sponsor shout-outs, anybody you want to thank before we head into the 360s?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely want to thank Coast to Coast, you for the broadcast, my buddy Mike McCoy for watching, my boss Jeff Spann, his wife Tanya, my son Dylan Shreve for painting my car, and everybody for watching.
Alrighty, well, congrats there, and we look forward to seeing you in future races. You going to be out here in the 360s?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, well, good luck, and go get ready for it. We'll take a break here at the station, and be back here shortly from Lincoln for the 360s. That was Randy Shreves, our victory winner. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this short message with more racing here at On the Pole.
It's time for another edition of iRacing Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus. So let's get.
Tonight when we talked about it.
Outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, we're back here from the Speedway. Things get set to rock and roll here. We're here with the 360 wing sprint cars from Lincoln. Hey, they're going through turn 3 and 4. Is that number 009 of Ted York? Andy Patton back here in the 87. Gavin Shaw, Joseph Grandy, Brian Moore, Mason Hine, Stephen Bixler, Pat Boyce, Dean Reynolds, Randy Shreve, Terry Landis, all out there right now. They work down through the front stretch down here in through corner number 1 and 2. You see that 87 of Andy Patton rolling down the backstretch. Hey, up off the corner, down the front stretch they go. They get this track worked in here. Everybody trying to find every little piece of everything they can. Yeah, they work off the corners. Everything you see. Everybody looking good here so far for the start of this race. Can't wait to see what they bring out here to the table. They're waiting on the qualifying to end here. Just waiting for practice to finish up. And then we'll get fired up here with and they work there off the corner. Down there through the front straightaway. Hopefully we're getting ready for the start here very soon. Everybody set to rock and roll. Ted York out here still running some laps. Quickest one here in warm-ups right now is that of Dean Reynolds with a 13.436. There is the flag. As qualifying is taking place. Right now, Dean Reynolds quickest in that as well. Hey, see, there comes the Scott Riome out there running that 4 machine. And through turn 1 and 2. Ten seconds left of qualifying. And here we go. Heat number 1 underway. Get that grid eyed up here. And your starting grid is going to be Gavin Shaw up there starting pole. Brian Moore there in second. Justin Randy there in third. Randy Shreve fourth. Ted York fifth. Scott Riome there in sixth. All right. Lights are off. Going to be going back. Green flag racing here in just a moment from the Speedway. Green flag is in the air. Here we go. And bring it on out there through the start-finish line here tonight. And here we go as they head on down through the front straightaway in the corner number 1 and 2. You'll see there the leader working down there in the 3 and 4. Hey, Joseph Granny is your leader out there on the top side. And they headed on out there. 3 laps to go here in heat number 1. Grandy out there in front. York there second. Scott Realm third. Randy Shreves there in fourth. Gavin Shaw, Brian Moore, 5th and 6th. And we're coming out of 4. 1 more lap to go. Grandy out there in front. Ted York there in second. Scott Realm there in third. Randy Shreves fourth. Gavin Shaw and Brian Moore in the pits. Unofficial results coming in here for heat number 1. All right, heat number 1 results are as follows. Joseph Grandy out there getting the win. Ted York there second. Scott Riom in third. Randy Shreves fourth. Gavin Shaw 5th. And Brian Moore there in 6th. Heat number 2. Stephen Bixler will lead them off there on the pole. Andy Patton second. Terry Landis third. Dean Reynolds in fourth. With Pat Boyce there 5th. Mason Hine in 6th. All right, getting set and rock and roll here with heat number 2. Mason Hine not taking the grid. They work down there off the corner. Through 3 and 4. And through turn 1 and 2. Four laps to go here in heat number 2 for the A&J Custom Creations Hometown Heroes 360 division. Now you're looking here, Terry Landis in second, Pat Boyce there in third. Stephen Bixler is in the pits. Pat Boyce there third, Dean Reynolds back there in fourth. Looking there behind Boyce. Can't quite find out which lane he wants. Up there to the top side. Trying to see there now. He looks to the inside, coming down the back straightaway. Decides against it. Back up there to the top side. Boys down there on the inside, pulling right up there to the bumper of Terry Landis. Andy Patton out there in front, leading the way. Final lap as we're watching the battle, 2nd through 4th here. Reynolds down there on the inside. Not quite enough. Well, maybe. We'll hold on here. Coming off the corner, it will be Reynolds getting that 3rd spot down there through the front straightaway. We'll be back. Well, hold on a moment. Heat number 2 results. That's going to be Andy Patton getting the win. Terry Landis their second. Dean Reynolds third. Pat Boyce their fourth. Steven Bixler in fifth. Mason Hine in sixth. All right, here we go. Getting ready for another set of warm-ups. We'll be back after these short messages.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, back here at the racetrack, your grid is up here. Why is the track not showing? Here we go. Thank you there. All right, Joseph Grundy as your leader here tonight, starting them off with Andy Patton there second. Ted York starts there in third. Terry Landis fourth. Scott Riome in fifth. Dean Reynolds sixth. Randy Shreves there seventh. Pat Boyce in eighth. Gavin Shaw ninth. Steven Bixler 10th. Brian Moore there in 11th with Mason Hine rolling off there in 12th. Mason Hine, though, did not take the grid. So 11 drivers out there to compete. 25 laps the distance. And watch them come down the backstretch. Green flag in the air down here through the front stretch in the corner number 1. Joseph Grundy there out front, Andy Patton there in second. Ted York there in third as he works down there on the bottom side. You can see the slick spots already forming there through turn 3 and 4. 24 laps to go down here in the corner number 1. Joseph Grundy as your leader out there. Andy Patton there second. Yellow flag is out for Bat Boys. First caution of the night. We see Pat Boys back here in 11th in car number 41. Cup Bear on the top side. Heads on down here in the corner number 1. Just slides it on up, gets into the back of Reynolds, and around he goes. And parks on the turn number 2 wall. Had to try to get it straight back out and ends up getting it caught up, but he's back straight again. And see them all coming through there off of the corner. There's him there through the corner with Grundy out front. Another caution here. We got a few of them there getting caught up. Looks like it's going to be on Brian Moore. Take a look at it here to see what exactly happened as they go 3 wide there. Reynolds there in the middle. Brian Moore down there on the inside. Taps and gets into the back there of Dean Reynolds. There you see Brian Moore up into the outside catch fence. Now he's going to get straight back out there. And back underway. Caution for the second time. All right, we're back underway once again. They come out there, 20 laps to go. Grundy out there in front. Ted York there in second. Randy Shreves there third. Terry Landis fourth. Dean Reynolds there fifth. Pat Boyce there 6th. Brian Moore there. All right, they're juggling all around here. There you see Brian Moore. He's working there on the top side. Somebody down there into the inside wall. That is Steven Bixler. He'll work around there to the pits. Well, Randy Shreves there in 2nd. He's got Ted York there right behind him. 18 laps to go now. Working there off the back straightaway, turn 3 and 4. Down through the front. Terry Landis there in 4th. Joseph Grandy out there in front. Shreves there 2nd. Dean Reynolds, he's currently sitting there 5th with Brian Moore behind him in 6th. Work down here through the corner, off of 4, down through the front straightaway. And in the corner, number 1 and 2. Looking there at Brian Moore. He looks underneath Dean Reynolds. Can't quite get there that lap, but he looks again, coming here out of 4. Moore underneath. He'll get that lap ahead of Dean Reynolds. Randy out there still leads the way. Randy Shreves in 2nd. Ted York. He's got to keep an eye on his back bumper as Terry Landis is coming in a Yoo-hoo 161 machine. Bixler, Pat, and Hine all out of the race. So we're down to just 9 drivers trying to compete for the final 13 laps. We see Scott Rion back here. He's going underneath Dean Reynolds. Dean, you're going the wrong direction. Falling back through the field there. As everybody's getting single filed out. Pat Boyce there in 8th. He's also dropped back quite a bit. There after a few restarts. There is Gavin Shaw back there in the 710. There's Shreves Grandi coming across the line. They're in 1st. 11 to go. Ted York 3rd. Terry Landis 4th. Brian Moore back here in 5th. Up the corner they go. Everybody looking great. As you see Brian Moore in the corner number 3 and 4. 10 laps to go as Grandi comes across there. A yellow flag is out for Pat Boyce. Pat Boyce missing a wing, so obviously he took one heck of a ride here. See exactly what happened here to Boyce. Here we go through turn 1 and 2. He had trouble getting through 3 and 4. Looks like he and Dean Reynolds collide. There you see it. Pat Boyce goes around, spinning around like a top. Lost the wing. Car still seems okay. Parked there on the outside lane. There we got Grandi there in the lead. Shreves in 2nd. This is the 3rd caution of the main feature here. Now we got 9 laps to go in the A&J Custom Creations Hometown Heroes. Ted York 3rd, Terry Landis there 4th. They working on down there in the corner number 1 and 2. Lights go off. Pace car pulls off. Hands the track over to Joseph Grandy out there in front as he's got Shreves there behind him. Up there on the top side where that moisture is. Gets it underway. Green flag is out down that front straightaway. In the corner number 1 they go. Randy Shreves in 2nd. Ted York down there on the inside. Has company there from Landis as he works down through the back stretch. Here he comes. Underneath him. And oh no, they touch. That's going to send the 9 around. Yellow back out as Terry Landis ends up getting into the side of Ted York. Under on the inside. Top racing up here in the top. Now you see Landis. He's going to try to dive it in there underneath the 09. It's going to slide on in there and slide right up into the right rear. Or, I'm sorry, left rear of Ted York. All right, 8 laps to go. Who's it going to be here? Looks like it's looking like Joseph Grundy. He is the leader. Randy Shreves there second. Brian Moore third now. Scott Riom is fifth. Gavin Shaw fifth. Sorry. Scott Riom is fourth. Working down that front stretch here with 8 laps to go. Some people would say cautions breed cautions. I don't know if that's true here tonight. We try to finish this one out. Down there through corner number 3 and 4. Green flags back in the air. Here comes Grandy down the front straightaway. Shreves there right behind him. Moore there in third. Scott Rion fourth. Gavin Shaw fifth. Here comes Ted York back up around Terry Landis. As Landis there on the inside. Dean Reynolds up there on the top side. Trying to get that top side today. And they work there through turn 1 and 2. 7 laps to go. Watching there is Ted York. Tries to get up there to the 710 of Gavin Shaw. Off the turn number 4. Randy Shreves second. Brian Moore third. Scott Riom there for it. Gavin Shaw in fifth. All being led by Joseph Grandy, who's out front. There of Gavin Shaw up into the outside wall. That's going to move him back, and he's got another hit there into the outside wall. And into the inside wall. Off the racetrack he goes. Grundy out there in front. Shreves there in second. Scott Riom in third. Brian Moore in fourth. Dean Reynolds got himself up there in the fifth now. As Grundy looks very, very good up there on the top side. And we're down there off the corner. In through turn 1 and 2. Randy Shreves there in second. Checkered flag out. Great race there to finish out the 360s. And we get the results in here. Looking like we're going to have Joseph Grundy as the official winner. Randy Shreves there second. Scott Riom in third. Brian Moore fourth. Dean Reynolds fifth. Ted York there in sixth. Terry Landis seventh. Gavin Shaw in eighth. Pat Boyce in ninth. Stephen Mixler in 10th. Andy Patton 11th. Mason Hine in 12th. All right. That's how you get with our winners. We have Scott Riom. Good evening there, Scott. You got third here in the 360s. How you feel?
Very, very surprised. I don't run these at all, ever. I suck at them, and took an EOL because I didn't want to screw anybody else's race up. And I got lucky with a couple of cautions that I was able to avoid, and I got destroyed under caution by somebody who apparently was colorblind. And went into the pits, came back out, and was able to figure him out, throttle control a little bit there. I back up through. Kudos to Brian Moore for racing me clean there when I got around him. I'm just as shocked as everybody else watching right now. So,
Well, you did a great job. You handled that car well. You got up there in the third. Might have had a little help with the field maybe around you. I don't know. But you, like you said, throttle control is everything in these sprints.
Yeah, I'm slowly learning. I mean, obviously, we got a lot of guys on FTM there that race these a lot, and they're always constantly trying to get me to, slow down and use the throttle a little better. I mean, I wasn't even going to run tonight. I got in right at the last second. I was coming in to spectate, but apparently I clicked join by accident. So Dean was like, "Oh, you're in. You got to race it now." So,
Well, you did great, and I mean, it almost seems counterintuitive, right? When because I always hear it all the time: slow is fast.
Yeah, it definitely was. Like when I got around Brian, I just was rolling I was barely even on the throttle around the bottom, and I was grabbing grip. And I did it the one time by accident because that's where the car wanted to go, and I seemed to get a pretty decent run on Brian. So I'm like, well, let me try that actually when I want to do it. And I got up alongside of him there and just eased it into the corner and was able to get by Brian. And I mean, he easily could have came down and taken that line away. I don't know what he did after, if he tried it or not, but kudos to him for not doing that and racing clean. Yeah, I'm happy with it. Definitely happy with it. Anytime I get a podium in these kind of cars.
Well, I mean, like I said, it almost seems counterintuitive, but I mean, everybody around dirt, even on the asphalt side, I've heard it. They say slow is fast, and I was like, how do you be slow and be fast? I mean, it almost doesn't make sense to some people.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it kind of figured out a little bit in the modifieds where when the track gets slick like that, just easy on, easy off the throttle, and it sticks better. These here, I noticed in the warm-ups, I was trying to enter high, and I was getting on the gas too much, and it was just snapping loose. So that kind of helped me remember to easy on the gas. And it worked. I'm up here.
Well, great job. You got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank?
The guys over at FTM, Dino had a Super Dirt car. You, Adam, for putting it on coast to coast for the league, and Andy Patton, I believe, for sponsoring the broadcast tonight.
Yeah, A&J Custom Creations definitely doing a great job this season.
Yep, sure are.
So, congrats again on getting third. Are you going to come out and after, finishing well here in the 360s, you going to come and try your hand at the midgets?
I didn't even mean to get in this one, Adam, so I'm going to take the rest of the night off.
Oh, I thought maybe since you had a little bit of luck here, maybe you'd come out and test your luck some more.
No, I think my luck ran out.
Alrighty. Well, enjoy your night there, Scott. We'll see you next week.
Right, yeah, we'll see you.
All right, that was Scott Riome. They're our third place finisher. Pretty shocked that he got it, honestly, is what it seems like. But he took third nonetheless. We got Randy Shreves now here in second. Good evening there, Randy. How's it going?
Not bad.
Well, you got second here in the 360s. Kind of take us through. How'd you think that car felt out there on that track tonight?
Well, I mean, the first couple laps it felt really good, and then somehow I got some damage. I don't even know how it happened. I mean, it may have been net code or something or another, but my front end was broke ever since like lap 4, and it was just kind of hard to go low in 1 and 2 when I had to, and yeah, I knew I had nothing for Joseph there. Just my car was broken, and just had to stay up there in the podium.
I mean, you did a great job controlling that car and getting it up there into the second place podium finish. And can't wait to see what else the season brings for you after tonight. I mean, you did a great job. You got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely want to thank Coast to Coast, A&J Custom Creations, you for the broadcast, my buddy Mike McCoy, my buddy Jeff Spann and his wife, his whole family, my son Dylan Schaefer for painting my car, and everybody for watching.
Alrighty, well, congrats again. And are you going to come out and try the midgets, or are you is your night done?
Yeah, I'll be out there in the midget.
Alrighty, well, good luck. We'll see you out there then.
All right, thank you.
All right, I mean, Randy Shreves, they're getting second. Now we'll get with our winner here, Joseph Grandy. All right, Grandy, how's it going? That car looked awesome out there tonight.
Yeah, it felt pretty good. Starting on the pole obviously helps. Just trying to keep her straight and smooth.
Well, like I said, you look great. And kind of take us through, how slick do you feel the track was here tonight?
I'm like 100% slick, so slicker the better for me. But the track was good. I think the top was there if in 1 and 2 if you had the balls to do it. I know it's probably a little bouncy, but I honestly think it's probably the quicker way around if you hit it right. But like I said, I was just playing it safe, and so I was up front, and until someone threatened me, I probably would have tried something else, but didn't have to.
Yeah, I'll say for myself, too, that the slicker the track, the better, because if it's a drier track, or, like if it's a fresh track, we'll put it that way. If it's a fresh track, I can't compete.
I'm the same way. I'm usually horrible at qualifying if it's a fresh track, and usually lag behind a little bit, but, got her done tonight.
Yeah, I'm usually one of them guys that the track has the slicking off, and then I start to work my way through the field. I mean, it's definitely a workout for sure, considering I haven't mastered how to get through on a fresh track yet.
Yeah, when throttle control comes into it, this separates the people who can race a little better and takes away all the pure horsepower.
True. Well, you did a great job. You got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank for getting the podium tonight?
Yeah, Catalytic Recovery, Raise the Bar, all the guys over at RMDB, Hinkle Homes, Mad Rabbit, Highlight Cinematography, girlfriend Olivia, AJ Custom Creations for sponsoring the night, all the guys at Coast to Coast, and appreciate you guys for doing the broadcast.
Alrighty, well, congrats there once again. And are you going to come out and run the midgets?
Nope, I'm done for the night.
Alrighty, well, congrats, and have yourself a great night here, Joseph.
You too, man. Thanks.
All right, that was Joseph Grandi, our winner here in the 360s. So stick around. We have the midgets coming up.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus. So let's get.
Tonight we talked about it.
dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, back here at the racetrack. We're getting everything situated once again. Why is it not showing? Come on, bring up the... There we go. Thank you. Here we got 7 drivers right now. We got a couple more moments here while they figure things out. All right, qualifying underway here tonight for the Rio Raps Midgets. I see Stephen Bixler there in the 75 Gas Monkey sponsor machine. There we see Pat Boys, Terry Landis in the 161. Ted York out here in the 009. For SSR, Jack Hitt in the Hooters machine. Randy Shreves out there in the 56. Down here off the quarter comes Brandon Templeton. Up into the outside wall, up and over he goes here in the corner. 3 and 4. We look here to see how much time we got left. About 50 seconds here for warm-up. Or I'm sorry, for the qualifying. Templeton trying to lay down a decent lap there at 15.298. Terry Landis now out there in that 161. Laying down a 15.443. And we see Jack Hitt with a 15.479. Shreves with a 15.616. Ted York with a 15.624. Stephen Bixler with a 15.746. And we got Pat Boys with a 15.859. All right, that's going to wrap up qualifying. Here in just a moment, we'll have the starting grid. Man, these drivers really put it out here. All right, there's your starting grid. We got Randy Shreve starting on pole. Jack Hitt there in second. Terry Landis in third. Brandon Templeton there fourth. Ted York in fifth with Steven Mixler there sixth. Pat Boyce in seventh. That is your Real Rap Midgets starting grid here tonight during the A&J Custom Creations Hometown Heroes. So only one heat here in the midgets. We're about normal right now. Would love to see more folks come out and get involved with the midgets. They are a smaller field. Down there off in the corner, number 3 and 4. Lights go off on the pace machine. Everybody circles back around here to the front stretch. Randy Shreves as your leader. Jack Hitt there in second. Brandon Templeton there third. Terry Landis there fourth. Or somewhere's thereabouts as they jostle position just off the start. Pace car is off. Here we go. We see them line up. Double foul. Down that back straightaway. Randy Shreves, your leader right now in car number 56. Green flag is out there, down and away. Look out, here they go. There they head here through turn 1 and 2. Jack Hitt down there on the bottom side in that 217. Oh, I'm sorry, no, 217's up there on the high side. That's that Hooters machine. We got a couple of them possibly getting together back here towards the back. Nope, there, everybody's okay. They work here off the corner. Landis coming up there in the second. Trying to bite it on down there in the corner, number 3 and 4. Way down there on the inside. Great run. Can't quite get there, though, as he's down there. Here comes Jack Hitt up there on the high side. Landis down there on the low side. Shreve stuck there in the middle as they work there off turn number 4. As we need the laps here. 3 laps to go here in the heat as they work themselves down the back straightaway here at Lincoln. In the corner, number 3 and 4. Up there to the top side is Randy Shreves. Jack Hitt there in second. Terry Landis in third. Now they work on back through 1 and 2. You got the top 4 right there, all up against one another. Of Shreves, Hitt, Landis, and Templeton all working right there. Templeton up there on the high side. Landis down there on the bottom. Hitt almost comes down across the nose of Templeton. Final lap here for the heat as they work down the back straightaway. Up there. Oh, no. And there goes Hitt down there into the inside after Templeton gets into him. Templeton flipped up and over. Randy Shreves getting the win. With Terry Landis there second. Waiting on the official results to come in. All right, Heat 1 results. Randy Shreves out there getting the win. Terry Landis there second. Ted York there in third. Pat Boyce fourth. Jack Hitt fifth. Steven Mixler there sixth. Brandon Templeton in seventh. All right, we'll be back very, very shortly after this message.
Precision is our language. Creativity is our weapon. And perfection is the only option. Your ride, your brand, your image, elevated to a level that can't be ignored. This isn't just a wrap, it's a revolution. Regal Wraps and Designs, where power meets style, and style becomes unforgettable. At Regal Wraps and Designs, we don't follow trends, we set them. Every line, every finish, every detail is built to dominate. From flawless vehicle wraps to bold custom designs, we take your vision and redefine it. Seamless statements, artful accents, hues of harmony. We are Regal Wraps and Designs.
All right, back here from the racetrack. If it will cooperate. Back here from the racetrack. We got just a little bit of time left here in warm-ups. There's your best time for warm-ups. We see Templeton, your fastest in warm-ups right now. You see Landis really trying to get it slid through the corner. He's currently second fast with a 15.545. Templeton up there on the high side with the fastest time. Got to make sure he stays out of that outside wall. Under a minute here for warm-ups as they head on out there. Out through the front stretch. You got that number 217, a jack hit down there on the inside as well. And then we're off the corner. Up there to the top side is Templeton. 30 seconds to go here in warm-ups. And then back out there onto the front straightaway. All right, getting ready for the start here. As we see it happening here. Your grid coming up for your last main event here tonight. Your Regal Wraps and Designs Midget Series. You got Randy Shreves out there in front. Terry Landis second. Ted York third. Pat Boyd there fourth. Jack Hitt fifth. Stephen Mixler there sixth. And Brandon Templeton rounding out there in seventh. There's your starting grid. Hey, drivers, get set to rock and roll here tonight. For your last main event here tonight. "25 laps the distance. Who's it gonna be to take the win here in this? All right, we see the pace car pull up. Hands the lead over there to Randy Shreves. There's a special treat tonight here, folks, that every one of the series was here in Lincoln. Green flags out there down the way, and they already touch. Hang on. Got to get it under control there, Landis, as he does so. That popped the front end up there on the start. There as Shreves ends up getting up there in position. Now he has to work his way back into it. Now we see Jack Hit up there on the top side. Ted York there in second, lurking there through the middle of the corner. Middle of the low side, that is. Templeton down there, Templeton down there. Now he's up there towards the top side. Landis and Hit going at it there for a third and fourth position. Landis is down there on the inside. Hit up there on the outside. Down here through turn number 1 and 2. 22 laps to go. These drivers really try to put on a show here. Bring it on down the backstretch. Now they're starting to space out just a little bit. In the corners, they bunch it back up again. 21 laps to go. Templeton down there on the inside trying to get around Landis. Getting into the gas in the corner number 3 and 4. You see Jack Hit in that Hooters machine. Trying to get up there to battle for second. Battle for third and fourth between Landis and Templeton. Jack Hit still on that top side. Down there through the backstretch. In the corner number 3 and 4. Templeton down there on the inside. They work there off in the corner number 1 and 2. Templeton's there on the bottom. In the 3 and 4 they slide. Up on the top side, it's Randy Shreves with the lead. Ted York there in second. Templeton there in third now. He sets his sights on Ted York, if he can, as he starts to run that outside lane. Jack Hit getting into the bottom there. Here comes Terry Landis. Ted York down there on the inside now as Templeton battles him hard on the outside lane. That battle for second and third. Now we see Templeton way up there, bringing it off. Turn number 4 down the front straightaway. He's going to take second now as he slides it on through. Careful there. Off of 2 down that back straightaway. Has to try to find a momentum to try to get up there to compete for first as he's back down there on the bottom side once again. Trying to get up there to Shreves. 15 laps to go for Templeton. Can he get up there to Shreves and battle it out? We're going to wait and see here on the pole from Flicker Farm TV down here in the corner of 3 and 4. Templeton out there in second. Shreves out in front. Shreves trying to hang on to that top side. Templeton, though, has looked like he might have something down there on the inside. Work there off turn number 3 and 4. Side by side there at the rear. In the corner number 1 and 2. Templeton down on the bottom side. Has a nose. Working down through the front, or through the backstretch. Is in front of Randy Shreves now as he works there off turn number 4. Templeton will lead that lap as they head here in the corner number 1. Templeton, now your new leader, as Shreves falls back there into second. Ted York in third. Jack Hit back here for Terry Landis in fifth as they bring it on out of turn number 4 once again. Brandon Templeton, your race leader here at Lincoln for the final race here tonight. Not the final race of On the Pole, though, as we are leaving here and going to the Gen 4 Series, which is at the Rock tonight for FMA. Out of turn number 2 comes Templeton. Randy Shreves there second. Ted York there third. Jack Hit fourth. Fifth going to Terry Landis right now. Just have to see if that's the way it plays out as the night progresses here. 9 laps to go. With Bixler back here in 6th. Pat Boyce in 7th. Jack Hit in 4th. Top corner number 2 down that back straightaway. Templeton there in front. They put a little bit of gap between him and Shreves. Ted York and Jack Hit might start the battle here. Caution flag is out for Pat Boyce. So it looked like something might have happened to Boyce through turn 1 and 2. There he gets it on, up there, slides it up against the outside wall, and loops it around. So 7 laps to go here for the midgets from Lincoln. Okay, got a bunch of everybody up. Can Treves get up there and battle Templeton, or Templeton finally figure out where he needs to be? Lights go out. Pace car is pulling off. And hands it over to Templeton to bring him around here to the front straightaway in the next lap, which will be 6 laps to go as they take the green. Everybody single file as we're under 10 laps to go. Green flag is out down here, away into corner number 1. There you see Ted York trying to get up there to battle with Shreves. Now he's got there Jack Hit there with him on the top side. Here off turn number 2. Turn number 4. Down through the front straightaway. 5 laps to go. Here as they work out of corner number 2. Down that back straightaway. Shreves there in second. Templeton way up there against that outside wall. Working there off. Jack Hit there in third now. As Ted York falls back there and is battling Landis for that 4th position. All right, 3 laps to go now for Brandon Templeton as he works out of turn number 3. Into 4. Onto the front straightaway. And 2 laps to go now for Templeton. Shreves there second. Jack Hit back here third. Ted York in 4th. Off that corner number 4. Final time here around Lincoln. And Brandon Templeton's out there in front. Randy Shreves there second. Jack Hit in third. Ted York there fourth. Stephen Bixler in 5th. Pat Boyce there in 6th. Checker flag is out. Templeton, your winner here with Randy Shreves in 2nd. Waiting on the results to show up. Here is your final results. Brandon Templeton gets the win. Randy Shreves there in 2nd. Jack Hit 3rd. Ted York 4th. Stephen Bixler 5th. Pat Boyce 6th. And Terry Landis there in 7th. All right, there we are. Jack Hit getting the win. Waiting on him to come in here. We'll go ahead and get with Randy Shreves. Good evening there, Randy. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. Another podium, can't complain.
Well, you got second here in the midgets. Didn't seem like the track slicked off as much for these guys tonight.
No, definitely not. And these things are already a handful as it is. And with it being Lincoln, it's just it's one of them treacherous tracks when they get slick. So it could be a good thing, but I don't know. I kind of like it when it's slick, but I definitely wasn't catching Brandon. He's just way too good in these things, and I was just happy to pull off second, man.
Well, you did a great job. You kept it out of the rails. That was a good thing.
Yeah, that's for sure. It was pretty thick up there. If you got up too far, it could suck you up there, but we managed to avoid that. So.
You got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank for getting second here in the midgets?
For sure. As always, definitely want to thank Coast to Coast. I think it's Regal Wraps and Designs. You for the broadcast. My son Dylan Streves for painting my car. My buddy Mike McCoy. My buddy Jeff Spann and his wife. My other son Jaden. And just everybody for watching.
Alrighty, well, congrats there, getting that second place, and we'll see you next week there, and see how your seasons continue to progress.
Yes, sir.
All right, enjoy your night.
Thanks, sir. You too.
All right, that was Randy Shreve. Now we'll get with Jack Hit. Good evening there, Jack. How's it going?
Doing good. How you doing, Ed?
I'm doing well. That Hooters machine, it looked like you had to maneuver it through traffic a little bit tonight.
Yeah, we had our hands full out there between, going through just a little bit of traffic, low car count, but there's just tracks just, different from anything else we race on. So, yeah, definitely a handful.
Well, I mean, you kept it under control for the most part and got yourself a third place finish. I know there was a few good heavy hitters out there tonight, and you pulled off third place tonight.
Yeah, shout out to Brandon doing what he does and getting the win. Randy's been really strong in the midgets lately. And Ted York's come out of nowhere. Terry's always strong. Even Steve's getting better back there. Pat Boyce getting a lot faster and everything. So everybody out here, is quality driver, and I think that helps us put on some good racing.
Alrighty, well, congrats. And you got any sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for getting third?
Got to thank you for putting on the broadcast, everybody behind the scenes, making things go around. All the guys, like I said, might have been a small car count tonight. We got some guys out on vacation and stuff, but all the guys that show up week in and week out. And big shout out to Regal Wrap and Designs for allowing us to go back and rewatch the broadcast.
Alrighty, well, congrats, and can't wait to see how the rest of your season goes. You have a great night there, Randy. Or Jack, I'm sorry. Have a great night there, Jack.
All good, thanks, Adam.
All right, that was Jack Hit, third place finisher. Now we'll get with Brandon Templeton, our winner. Good evening there, Brandon. How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good tonight. How about yourself?
It's going well. Seems like you had trouble finding the momentum line there at the beginning, but then as the race wore on, you found it and got yourself up there into the top spot.
Yeah, just a real tough track, tough to work traffic in the little midgets with the front tires hopping, and you're just about full throttle sideways most of the time, so just trying to be careful, work traffic, don't cause any incidents, and get my way up through there.
Well, you did a great job, and can't wait to see, it's always fun to watch these little midgets go around these speedways, and it was a treat tonight to see all three classes on the same track, and can't wait to see what you got going forward here with the Coast to Coast series.
Yeah, hopefully we'll keep it rolling. It's been a pretty good season so far in the midgets. I had a little hiccup last week with Randy Shreves. It kind of slid up on him accidentally there, so sorry to him. But getting back on track, trying to keep it clean and keep the incidents low and come up with some wins.
Well, you did a great job with that tonight. You got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for getting that victory tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank the Dirt Track Bank there, Malvern, Iowa, Malvern Bank, and you can check them out at dirttrack.bank. Every bit that supports, every bit that you deposit goes to collateral to help, support the loans that he's given to the haulers, whether it's race haulers, a guy on a bad week that needs an engine or whatever. He's doing lots of support racers and understands, what it takes to be on tour and get out there every week. So thanks to him. Thanks to Regal Wraps and Designs, Extreme Images, Maley's Makery, Big C's Lawn Care, Flieger TV, and everyone watching at home. Thanks a lot.
Alrighty, well, congrats, and can't wait to see, as we said, what's in store for us the rest of the season. And you run tomorrow night too, correct?
Yeah, normally I would, but I got my daughter playing volleyball, so we've been missing a lot of nights this season, just kind of trying to hit and miss outlaw schedule and pick up some wins when we can.
Alrighty, well, congrats. Hopefully she can pull off a victory tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. You have a great... All right, that'll do it here tonight from the Coast to Coast Racing Network here tonight. And Flinker Farm TV on the pole. We have here Brandon Templeton getting the win in your midgets from Regal Wraps and Designs. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the racing here on both both Coast to Coast Racing Network and Flinker Farm TV. Watch it on the pole over there. As we say good night here, thank you all for watching.